As you surely know, Governor Ron DeSantis is running for re-election next year, and you could say that he kicked off his campaign this week when he signed the election bill on Fox News.
The race began officially this week with the first Democrat to announce. Charlie Crist is a former Republican governor, now officially running to be a Democratic governor. At the moment, Crist is a third-term congressman from St. Petersburg and right there with us live. So good to see you, Charlie Crist.
Good to see you, Glenn and Mike. How y'all doing?
We're doing very well.
You haven't changed a bit since 2005.
Neither have you. Well, when you go gray early, there's not a whole lot else to change.
You know, if you don't mind, I'm going to call you Charlie. I've only known you for 30 years, but I'm respecting your office as a member of Congress. You know, Charlie, your motto for the campaign is Florida for all, and the clear implication is that Florida, under Governor Ron DeSantis, is a place for special interest and big money. Is that what you're really saying? Precisely.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, as usual, Mike. I'm not surprised. But yeah, and let's just look at the vaccine rollout as one example. And though I want to get to the voting issue, too. That's important. But when you go to Ocean Reef, you go to Lakewood Ranch, you go to these white, wealthy, mostly Republican enclaves in Florida and give them the vaccines first way back in January. You're not giving it to people in inner city Miami. You're not giving it to people in inner city Tampa. You're going to these selected places where people are giving you contributions. That's not for all. That's for some.
Congressman, I know that has been a big narrative, but just in fairness, I just want to throw out there that we have looked into a lot of that, and we don't see any evidence of that, and the Democratic, now former Director of Emergency Management, refutes that. So I just, to be fair, I wanted to put it out there. But about your...
Well, that's fine that he does, but it's a fact, and facts are stubborn things. That actually happened.
So let's talk about your candidacy. Now that you are a bona fide candidate, we know you as Mr. Congeniality, one of the nicest candidates on the campaign trail. You've been so many things for the state: the Attorney General, you've been a senator, you've been the Education Commissioner, you've been governor, you've been 3 different parties, and that allows your opposition now to sort of start launching their opposition on how you are an opportunist and a chameleon, a political chameleon. How are you going to address that?
To tell the truth, I am who I am. You know, I've always believed that a woman should have a right to choose. I've always believed in protecting the environment. I've always believed in public education. I'm a public school kid myself, graduating from St. Pete High and Florida State University. You know, I've always believed that people have the right to vote. You know, it doesn't really matter what party you are. You have core beliefs that were instilled in me by my mother, happy Mother's Day, Mom, and my father. That's really what it comes from. It comes from the values that you're raised on. You know, they raised me and my 3 sisters to try to do what's right. And Glenn, it's never been about right versus left for me. It's been about right versus wrong, honestly. And I see what's happening with this governor is wrong. Excluding people and making it harder for them to vote. You just did a great piece on it. Congratulations for doing that. I'm glad that they're being sued. Hopefully the unconstitutionality of that law will be exposed, and people will have and make it easier for them to vote by mail. My 88-year-old father, my 86-year-old mother love to vote by mail. Many seniors in the Sunshine State do. And so I think it's anti-senior. I think it's wrong. Having less of the drop boxes, as you talked about in your earlier segment, is appalling. Why would you want to make it less convenient to vote and exercise your right to democracy unless you're anti-democracy?
Yeah, Charlie, excuse me, if I can kind of jump in here. Not surprisingly, Governor DeSantis this week sort of truly ridiculed you for the fact that you have been a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. You know, he said a vegetarian, a libertarian. Anyway, here's what the governor had to say about you.
You know, people said Charlie Crist, and I was just asking myself, what party is he going to run in this time? I mean, he's on a Republican, I know, lost before, independent, Democrat. But then I look at his voting record in the Congress. He has voted this Congress with Nancy Pelosi 100% of the time.
All right, Charlie, why don't you respond to that? He says you vote with Nancy Pelosi all the time.
No, I don't. And you know, but that's Ron. You know, he just unfortunately doesn't tell the truth. And that's kind of what today's hard right Republican Party is about. There's plenty of good Republicans. I don't want to paint too broad a brush because there are. But, this is a state that has almost 200,000 more registered Democrats and Republicans, a healthy swath of independent-minded voters, NPAs, if you will, and some very reasonable Republicans that don't choose to lie, as the governor just did. He's getting that from the Trump playbook. He's kind of like the mini-me of Donald Trump. I don't think that's a winning hand in Florida anymore, particularly after the insurrection of January 6th led on by the former president. He's doing so much that's going hard to the right. It's hard to fathom. I mean, it almost looks like he's running for president and to get that Republican nomination in 24 more than he cares about being governor of Florida. And it's heartbreaking to see that. Florida's special. She's not a stepping stone, but that's how he's treating her right now. And it's not right. And I believe the people deserve a choice. And that's why I'm running, to give them a choice and to have a Florida for all instead of just for some and the wealthy.
Can we go back to the COVID and vaccine rollout? You've been very critical just now of the governor, and I want to say this with deep sympathy to the families of 36,000 Floridians who have died of COVID.
Right.
In the stats and data, Florida actually is a state that ranks as fairly successful in infection rates and in vaccination rates. Is there anything can you give credit about anything about that to the governor and his plan?
No, I won't. And because you can't. I went to the Super Bowl this year. I'm a big Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and they had a great year. And so I'm at the game and I'm wearing a mask. I'm social distance. I'm in the stands. I'm not in a box. I look up and I see the governor in a box, not wearing a mask. He's not leading. There still isn't a plan for our vaccine rollout. It's a hodgepodge and it's a mess. And to say that, 36,000 of our fellow Floridians are dead. God rest their souls. But my word, if the governor would have had a plan, if the governor would have led by example, worn a mask and encouraged it, if not mandated it for the state of Florida, how many people would be alive today? How many less of that 36,000 would be gone? Think about that. It's unconscionable that we have a governor who beats his chest about being open and, making sure everybody can go around and not have to social distance and, go party all you want, come to spring break. What in the world's going on? And what's he doing with the cruise industry now? He's saying that people can go on a cruise if not all people are vaccinated. I met with the leader of Norwegian Cruise not long ago, and he was appalled by that. He said, Charlie, I don't understand how a leader, alleged leader, like our governor, is saying that you don't want to have everybody vaccinated and stuff them all on our boats, our cruise ships, and risk us having a outbreak.
Definitely diverging philosophies, no doubt.
We understand. Before we run out of time, a couple of
first.
issues.
That's how I was raised by my medical doctor father.
Yeah. We want to get you to weigh in on, Charlie, at the 11th hour in the legislature, almost at the last day, some Republicans got a bill that essentially bans trans girls from playing scholastic sports, and the governor says he's going to sign that. If you were the governor, would you sign it?
I would veto it. I can't believe they're spending time on something like that when we're in the middle of a pandemic. Are they just trying to make political points with the hard right and being cruel to children? We deserve better. I have a deep faith, and I believe in the golden rule and treating others as you would treat yourself. And they're doing exactly the opposite. The governor's doing exactly the opposite. It is wrong. It is shameful. It is ungodly. I can't believe it. And, if we just would do unto others as they would do unto us and follow the golden rule, this would be a lot better place.
Well,
and I'm hopeful for that. And I look forward to beating Ron DeSantis next year.
The golden rule still applies, we hope, in all our lives, even in politics. Charlie Crist, great to speak with you. We look forward to having you in our studio one day soon.
I look forward to it too, Mike. Thanks so much.
We look forward to having you on the campaign trail here often.
All right. Thanks very much.